Okay, so it's Joey Remenyi here from Seeking Balance Australia, and I am absolutely thrilled to have Elisa with me, who has bravely said yes to sharing her story in overcoming persistent dizziness and the anxiety associated with her symptoms. And we were just having a little chat prior to clicking record, and Elisa said to me, I can't even remember what it was like back then. So we were having a little chat about how far she's come. So, Elisa, do you want to just quickly explain the beginnings of how you met me, what you were feeling at the time, and what you can remember about that? And yeah, we'll just start with that.
Okay. I was referred to Joey by my osteopath, who had tried to deal with my persistent symptoms of dizziness and vertigo. And this was after a long line of other medical
Yeah.
treatment,
Yeah.
CTs, MRIs, medical checkups galore, blood tests, and I've had dizziness for at least 12 years.
Yeah.
Persistent symptoms of
Yeah.
dizziness, vertigo, being
Yeah.
flung to the side,
Yeah.
my balance all the time. So it's been a very long journey to get to Joey.
Yeah, and you were sort of telling me, you'd had a lot of therapy, you tried medications. I mean, you'd really,
I have done the whole gamut.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so congratulations on you for putting that effort in, because I can really empathize with people who give up, to be honest. That's a lot of time and a lot of trying,
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, it is, but it's not a pleasant thing to live with.
No,
So,
I know.
and it's scary. It is scary because
Yeah.
you, in my case, I spent the longest time convinced it was something physically wrong with me. Well, it manifests physically, but
It,
I had like a brain tumor or something wrong with my neck, or desperately trying to seek the physical answer.
yeah, yeah. And so do you want to talk through a little bit about arriving at that point where you thought, oh my God, maybe there's something more to this than my tight neck or my inner ear or my brain. And so you and I started to have this conversation of, why don't we look at it differently? And what if it isn't just physical? And do you want
Mm.
to talk people through that?
Well, yeah, but I didn't know exactly. Like I believe in when you need the next thing and you're open to the next thing, it turns up.
Yeah.
So I'm very willing to go forward when someone is presented to me. So when I was referred to you, I didn't actually know what I was going to, if you know what I mean. I was just like, well, this is the next thing.
Yeah.
So off I go, stumbling blindly in. I really didn't have any idea what I was or what you actually did. I
Mm.
just had been told that you are an expert in this field. So, but I wasn't aware of what you were in fact offering. To be
Yeah.
perfect, yeah, I was just open to like whatever.
And, and you remember we were just talking about in that initial session when I said, what if we think about it differently? And what if, we don't know, but what if these dizzy sensations were actually a little gift, and the gift was coming to you with a
Yeah.
message, and we opened
Well,
up that conversation?
yeah, that was hard to hear initially. It was hard to hear, like this pain in my ass was actually a gift. um, but in being told that it perhaps is a gift to me, it allowed me to look at things differently, or be open to actually explore, like, well, what the hell is my body trying to tell me, or just to look at a different way, and perhaps that it's not an inconvenience, perhaps it's an offering to go on a different path.
Yeah.
Yeah, that allowed me to be actually open to what you had to offer.
Yeah. And do you remember just the day-to-day grind? So early on, I know you said it's a long distant memory, but just getting through the daily life and all the little symptoms that would happened. So you'd had the MRI, you'd had the clear medical investigations, you'd had oodles of therapy, and now you've come and you're like, what? This is a gift? Are you kidding me? Like, do you want to go through, like, what were you actually experiencing? What were the physical sensations? What were the symptoms?
For me physically,
eyes moving, I remember, and
my eyes flickering, rolling over in bed, in and out of bed was really tricky. Riding my horse was very difficult, because trying to maintain your balance from the whole, I often felt like I was walking on a trampoline.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, those domes, you shake those domes and they kind of they go like that inside. That's what the horizon was like.
I have one of those.
And often I would, I remember that. Yeah. And often I would feel like I was literally belted over the head, just out of the blue. But then I would have periods of no symptoms. I would have periods of I would be good for 6 months or whatever, and I'd be thinking, oh God, maybe it's gone, and then, you know, it would come back. Yeah.
Yep. And you also had that pressure at the base of the head?
Yes. Yeah. That full feeling at the back of my head. Yeah.
Yep. So I've got in my notes that we checked it wasn't BPPV. So some of those symptoms, the rolling in bed and stuff, could be the classic positional vertigo. Yes. But in your case, it wasn't that. And it was also triggered in the car and driving over bridges, remember?
Yeah, that's kind of because I had the horizon going like that, going over bridges was particularly terrifying.
Yeah.
And so that caused me to have terrible anxiety.
Yeah.
Which it was kind of like a chicken and the egg thing. It just all went round and around, and
started looping.
I couldn't work out what came first in the end. But yeah.
Yeah. So now when
nasty concoction.
Yes. Don't we know it? So now we fast forward into the future, and you've done the Rocksteady program. You've had support through Beautiful Balance.
Yes.
And you're really committed, which has been so beautiful to watch your progress and your leaps and your bounds.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, how have you noticed the relationship to yourself has changed in that process over the last few months?
You're going to make me cry.
Your tears are so welcome.
Yeah. You kind of sprung that on me a bit. I'm much kinder to myself. Mm-hmm. I'm actually, probably for the first time in my life, really kind.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah, now you're going to make me cry. I don't feel like I'm driving myself, really pushing myself all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm much calmer.
Yep.
Which, my family can't. Yeah, I'm calmer and to myself and kinder to myself, and I know how to take care of myself better. I do a lot of hand on heart stuff, a lot of breathing, a lot of taking 5 all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not a yogi person. I'm not a meditator for an hour. I'm not like that at all.
And you don't need to be.
I'm not like that at all. It's, for me, it's 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah.
And I, as you say, I'm the expert in me, and I've been really exploring the expert in me. Yeah, and giving me what I need. Yeah.
Amazing.
And I've never done that.
So if you were to have like a little blip of dizziness or something today,
yes,
talk people through listening how that would impact on your life, and if it would impact on your quality of life at all. Because so many people put their energy into trying to get rid of symptoms, etc.
Yeah.
Whereas we're really looking at it differently now.
Yeah. Well, I used to be scared of it.
Yeah.
More than anything, I was scared of it, and I'm not scared anymore. And if it comes back, that would be disappointing. But if it comes back, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, and I know that it's my friend, and it's actually there to look after me.
Yep.
And to me, it's like it would represent a red flag.
Yep.
You're going too hard, you're going too fast, you need to take a break, you need a rest, it's etc.
Yeah.
And it's actually okay to take the time. And so I give myself the time. Like when I enrolled to do your course, I realized I needed to make room in my life for it because my life was full.
I remember that around the second or third session, you said, I've scheduled this in. I've removed X, Y, and Z. You're really proactive.
Yeah, I cancelled everything that I could.
Yep.
And so I could really devote the time and energy required, because it is a commitment. You do it's like buying a piece of gym equipment. You can't put it in the corner and expect to it is like weightlifting. And I'm a very curious person, and I think I'm a very open person.
Two great qualities.
And I was really open to learning, learning. And I've really loved the challenge and just learning and absorbing, a different way of being, a different way of looking at things. And
Yep. So I wanted to ask as well, not just how your relationship to yourself has changed, which is one of the best gifts. I mean, I remember going through that process myself when I was in the hard yards and going through it, and learning to view myself differently. It was just life-changing, absolutely life-changing. Yeah. But around that and beside that and adjacent to that, have you noticed any changes in your relationship to the world and your relationship to other people, whether it be your children or your partner or your sisters, all of that?
I feel actually more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've taken, because no one's going to give you the power, I've just taken it.
Yeah.
Not in a aggressive bad way, but I am much more willing to say what I need.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay that I have needs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm much calmer in the world, not as angry. I'm much more willing to let things go. I don't have to fight every battle.
And what's that meant for you as a mother, having children and now role modeling new ways of life for them?
Oh, my kids are really impressed with the work I've done, and some of the major work I did with you, I've shared with them. And that's opened up a whole, I have great kids. I'm really blessed. 3 beautiful daughters, and they really love me and I adore them. But I've always shared my learning with them, and the benefit to our relationship through my work with you has just been fantastic. And my husband is amazing as well. I'm really lucky. I have a great life. I have a great life.
Yeah, and just it's like, look where you are now.
Mm.
And it's been so beautiful watching you create this space in your life and to welcome in some moments that have been really difficult and really traumatic, and to see when you go into that and go, wow, I can hold this now. I don't need to run away from it. I can be here, and there's a sense of peace and ease.
Yes. I really feel the ease, and in the time that I've been talking to you, I've had some, pretty terrible things occur.
You have, big stuff, really big stuff.
And the way I've been able to handle myself, handle the situation, has been, and it's been very stressful, has been really different from how I would have handled things in the past. Very different. I'm much more measured. And I keep saying I can say what I need and prioritize myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in situations. And it's not in a selfish way. It's very difficult to describe the impact the work has had on me in a way that I can have people understand how important this work has been for me.
Yeah.
It's very hard to describe because I feel it to my center of my being, the shift that's occurred in me, and the growth that has occurred in me is, you know, I hate to say profound, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I've jumped tracks. You know, I just switched tracks basically.
It's a new lease on life, isn't it?
It definitely, yeah.
And you know what I feel like you were kind of describing then, and this is my words, not yours, but it's like shifting from being a woman doing, it's like she's doing life, which we all relate to. You know, we go down the A, B, C, D, E, F, you're just doing Monday, doing Tuesday. And then you shift into this space of a woman being. It's like, and I am being with myself. I am being with my needs. I am being with my presence. And it's a really subtle difference that I think is difficult to describe.
It is very difficult, yeah. And I think if you've been through something like it, or you could liken something you've been through, you can understand. But yeah, I think that I'm glad that I'm a curious person, and I'm willing to try anything, just about, like in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I needed to know every step I was taking, like in a medical sense,
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't have. What am I trying to say? I had to just leap in with when I met you. I just felt that it was the right thing to do, because I actually felt ghastly the first time I left your office. I felt like I'd had a layer of skin removed.
Yeah.
I felt raw. Very raw and very vulnerable. And I thought, there's not many people in the world that have me feel this way, and that has to be a good thing. It has to be a good thing. So, you know, whilst it's a scary place to be, I credit you with like holding that space and honoring wherever I was. And there's no judgment. And it is just what it is. And I don't know if you understand how valuable, I'm sure maybe you do, but the value in that is huge. It's to me, the just the no judgment.
Yeah. Look, I feel it, and I suppose I feel it with you. So it's like the raw moments, you know, I'm in those raw moments too, and that's the really human part of it. And when our sensory system changes, whether it be people with tinnitus or dizziness or headaches, migraines, nausea, you know, there's a huge range of things we can be feeling. That's often when our body is bringing us into our raw humanness. You know, it's like we can't ignore it. It's just knocking on the door. And when everything's warm and cozy and fine and we're comfortable, we can sort of be distracted by life and be very outwardly.
Yeah.
And so it's often in these moments of sensory distortion that we're at our most human. And it's a real privilege.
And the most growth and learning is possible. So I mean, often, so without my ghastly vertigo, which I absolutely am totally clear was a gift. Right. I would not have had the experiences, and I would not have dealt with stuff that I've dealt with that I didn't even know was there.
I know.
That I've been lugging around, and like anybody would be dizzy, like anybody.
Yeah.
I think. And I'm really grateful for where I am, really grateful.
Yeah. Well, it's so beautiful to have you in our community.
Thank
And
you.
these Seeking Balance case studies are just so incredibly humbling, and I love human stories. And I think, yeah, it's just really beautiful to hear your journey. And I had the best seat in the house. I was able to watch your growth and your discoveries, every step of the way. But thank you so much for opening up to the rest of the community and sharing. But do
You're
you have
welcome.
any closing words about the process and your decision to do it a little bit differently and use online resources? And it can be scary at first, but any closing words on that process now you're kind of graduating?
Oh, a couple of things. I am not a tech savvy person. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Um, but it couldn't be easier. Like if I can do it, believe me, if I can do it, anybody else can do the online thing. So it's I love that. I think what actually facilitates and aids the process
Mm-hmm.
is that I'm able to be in my own space where feel safe.
Yeah.
Like I am safe here. I love where I am. So, and I think that is fantastic. And for me, is definitely part of the process. Because I am comfortable where I am, and therefore we are just having a conversation.
Yeah.
So technically, if I can do it, anybody can do it. If that's helpful. And I've never. I don't know if this is answering your question. What I appreciate most is the way that you delftly guide and have guided me in a way that's allowed me to progress. So I'm doing the work, but you are a very intuitive guide, and that's a very valuable skill. And I greatly appreciate it. And just allowing me to make the shifts myself. And the shifts are massive, but I've made them, but you've guided me. So that's pretty, I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, I just can't. Cool.
Thank you.
I couldn't be more pleased. I could not be more pleased.
Great. And I really hope one day you can sit back and watch this video of yourself.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And just feel really proud of yourself, because you have done the work, and it's been a huge leap of faith, a huge commitment, and you've broken through all those physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual layers that were all a bit knotted and needed work, and you've unknotted them, and now you're just really
living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe on that note,
yeah,
we'll say goodbye. And if you ever want to jump on the Facebook group and just share the journey with other people, you're always welcome. But I know that you're just doing it yourself, so that's even better. You're self-reliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elisa. And
Bye.
on behalf of everybody, you're awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.